Yo, good morning. Name's George. I draw comics, I make games, and I talk into my microphone when I'm by myself in my room. I'm working hard on Mary Sue if anyone's curious. That's my latest comic. Link is in the description. And every morning, I try to go through the news and just kind of get my brain going. I always want to, especially as you're working on a comic, what you end up doing is spending a lot of time either listening to music or podcasts or something like that. So I always want to try to be chewing on something, thinking about it during my day. And today, I came across, I go through Twitter in the morning and came across a couple tweets that I think are worth chewing on. And I did a bunch of writing, wrote a couple tweets just to get my thoughts out. And then more thoughts came out and more thoughts came out. And I said, wait, I'm onto something here. Basically, what I was thinking about was pyramid schemes. And not just pyramid schemes, but also social hierarchies that, people greater than myself, like Peterson, can always talk about like at greater length. But he makes points that are pretty simple for commoners like myself to understand, which is that, if you think of the pyramid scheme, you got a lot of people on the bottom. And then as you rise the ranks, you get people who need to sustain the pyramid, and at the very tip of the pyramid is the grand leader, who gets all the money and the glory and all the good stuff. But at the end of the day, you got this pyramid. I'll start with the first tweet because I think this, just as a thought experiment, I think this is fascinating. So let's say I have an instance of somebody who says, you guys are all alphas. Here's the first tweet here that I was thinking about. You guys are all alphas. And then everybody in the room is like, yay, we're alphas. But of course, you can't all be alphas because the whole point of alphas, as seen in this tweet here, like you can only have one alpha in a pack, let's say, right? The whole reason that hierarchies exist is that if you look at a straight line, there is number 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down to the bottom level noob or something like that, right? At the very top is the number 1 person, and there's a number 2 person. And then if you structure it like a pyramid, there's still that one alpha male. So I can't go into a room with you guys and say, you are all alphas like me. And this is a room full of alphas. If you imagine in Conan the Barbarian, you got the room of all those warlords all sitting around with Conan, and they're like, what is best in life, right? That's a room full of alphas, right? But even they have a hierarchy because they can't all talk on top of each other. Someone has to be the person to, slam their stick on the ground and be like, silence! What is best in life? Right? So you can't all be alphas. But I was thinking about, why would I tell everyone that they are alphas? You people listening, the George Army, right? You're all a bunch of Georges, just like me. We're all Georges together, and that's why, here I'll highlight, only true alphas will put money in the collection plate so we could stick it to those gammas. And then everyone obeys like giga alphas, because only giga alphas take take direction from other alphas, right? And then, hey, we're having great times. We're having good feels. Everybody come back to church tomorrow, fellow alphas. And then all the alphas bend the knee. And then, because alphas bend the knee, right? And this got me thinking about illusions and how fascinating it is to trick people into thinking that they are in control of a whole room of people, or I'm a member of the people who are in control of this organization. Isn't it fun to be a part of this wonderful group? And then I started, okay, let's extrapolate. Let's not just apply it to one instance, right? Let's apply it to multiple instances. And then I started thinking, wait, we've seen examples of this before. This clown right here. I can't stand this man. He does this. He is, if anyone doesn't know, one of the leaders, if not the leader, of the what's called the health and wealth gospel, which went back when I was very Christianish, before I became a filthy agnostic. I used to study cults and all kinds of thinking that would lead to, let's say, groupthink, and that always freaks me out. So I was always on the prowl looking out for groupthink, and I said, this guy preaches the message that you too can command God to give you things. And you got this guy, this clown right here, Benny Hinn. If anyone doesn't know, you need to look him up. There are videos of Street Fighter sound effects as he punches people who get on a stage who say that they need healing. And then there's Hadoukens and stuff. It's the funniest thing. You got to look him up, Benny Hinn. But what he would do is, faith healings and stuff like that. And there were stadiums full of people all cheering and saying, yeah, that old lady was healed. Even though there were all kinds of exposés back in the 80s of, people who would fill out these prayer cards, and I would go up on a stage and say, I need healing for this, that, and the other, right? But I didn't tell anybody. I just filled it out on this prayer card. And then somehow the pastor would pretend to know all the things that I need healing for, when in reality it was his wife up in the sound booth reading that person's needs. And the guy was pretending to be like, oh, the Holy Spirit's telling me, right? What I'm trying to get at is that it has always freaked me out to no end to think that, holy crap, people buy this stuff. They buy it. A whole stadium of people who you would think are smart enough to see past it. No, they're not. And that just groupthink and cults, and it just freaks me out, right? So everywhere I see it in my whole life, I take notes and I think about it. I'm like, wait, this is wrong. These people are not thinking clearly. There's some kind of sorcerer like this dude. There's someone at the top of the pyramid collecting all this money and gaining all this fame and power and all that good stuff. There's always someone at the top of this pyramid. And then there's people underneath them supporting the pyramid. So I've been thinking about that this morning as a thought exercise. It's been fascinating. And then I'm just I have all these notes that I keep in my head. And then I was doing some writing, some tweeting, whatever. And I just thought, I'm going to write down some notes of, here are some signs that you may be in a cult. And I'm writing to myself, George, you might be in a cult if, and here are some bullet notes. 1, pouring all your material resources into the, quote, church. Now, I'm using the word church very loosely. Let me give you an example. Around my area, there's the people that we call the Mother God people. And they would walk around like a Barnes & Noble. And if you're in the religious section, they will walk up to you and start to tell you about, hey, have you heard of Mother God? I've written comics about them before. And what they are is a Korean cult where their leader is this lady, hence Mother God. She's this Korean lady who was the wife of a guy named An Sang-hang or something like that. And just another cult. And a bunch of weird creeps, and it's they use the Bible to twist the words and have arguments with you, and they interpret verses in weird ways. And I snapped out of all of my religiosity when I interacted with them, and I realized, holy crap, they can't be argued with. You cannot argue with cultists. They will not. You can have the best arguments in the world, the most rational, open-minded. You just can't. They have these things in place in their head, these illusions. It's the creepiest thing in the world. You cannot snap them out of it. So, church. Very loose word, church meaning just a body of people who all follow a certain set of ideals, let's say. A certain memes, right? They all follow this ideology. Pouring all your material resources into the church is one sign. Group attacks against people who criticize the great leader. Now, let's say I'm the cult leader of the Church of George, and I have too many people criticizing me. So I'm going to just have my followers, anytime my name is mentioned, all of you guys just, let's use a hashtag whatever, right? And that's going to summon all my followers, so you guys deal with the criticisms, right? So I don't have to deal with it. Because anyone who criticizes me is criticizing you, because you're my followers. But you're also my alphas, right? Next point, multiple levels of membership. Now, you can come in at the bottom level, right? You're just investigating the church. You just kind of want to see what it's all about. And, we're going to accept you. At the bottom levels, we're just going to accept you. We're going to have a good time. Come hang out with us, right? There's pizza over there on that table. Let's just hang. And then also we're going to okay, everyone, we had our pizza. Let's all sit down. We're going to have today's message. Which is weird because I used to be a pretty religious person, and that can be a good thing. We're all going to sit and sing songs and praise Jesus, and that's all good stuff. That's fine. I don't see a problem with that. But then what if instead of Jesus, right, we're worshiping the pastor himself? That's where I started getting creeped the F out, right? Multiple levels of membership. We start at the low levels, we work our way up, right? And as you get higher and higher, you start to see, like, let's say a pyramid scheme like the money kind. We're going to sell products to our members, and the more money you make, the more members that you recruit, the higher you climb, right? So the more that you are a part of our organization, right, the higher you get to climb. And hey, look at this guy. He climbed really high. I want to talk about that in a minute. Fellowship with other believers gives you an odd sense of belonging which you can't get anywhere else. There were times when I was interacting with fellow youngsters where the most fun thing that I could possibly do is hang out with my bros and the girls, and there are girls there, right? Oh man, you can hang out with the girls. And we would have so much fun. We would play games and we would go on hikes, and that was all good stuff, because I don't think that religion is a bad thing. Organized religion is not necessarily a bad thing. But instead of church, where we're having wholesome, good, fun time and we're praising Jesus, and that's all fine. I have no problems with this. But now we're having fun, let's say, brigading against bad guys. Hashtag whatever. We're going to all get together and go after some people. We're going to have some fun. We're going to go on a raid together, an internet raid. And you can't have this kind of fun anywhere else, guys, by the way. So you should hang out with us all the time, including nights and weekends. Give us all your spare time. Give us all your resources so that this group of ours can keep growing, so that we can have even more fun and funnel even more money into the top leadership, which I'll get to. Signs you may be in a cult number 2. Anyone who criticizes the church, the organization, is criticizing me. Now, I could just say something very vague on Twitter, and then some people will read it as I am being attacked. I'm saying, let's say, for example, I don't like the color blue. And then someone would be like, wait a second, I'm wearing blue. Why are you attacking me, bro? You might argue at that point that this person has some kind of connection to the color blue that is beyond rational. Their identity is tied to the color blue, right? So anyone who criticizes the church or the leader is taking power away from it, and therefore is making it smaller, making it less likely that I can climb the hierarchy. Therefore, they must be stopped, right? I'm going to jump on anyone who criticizes the church. The church is more important than me. I will sacrifice myself for the group. This is pretty self-explanatory, the kind of thinking that I as a person don't matter. I do matter because I'm told that I matter, but the group itself is greater, serving something greater than yourself. You ever hear that one? I will sacrifice myself for the group. How lovely, how useful it is to have members in your organization that are willing to sacrifice themselves for you so you don't have to get your hands dirty. Leaders love this kind of minion, the kind who will do anything to prove themselves so they can get praise from their peers and leaders. Oh, that's sweet, sweet praise. Anyone who takes power from the church is evil and must be stopped. So let's say I'm now recording this. I'm criticizing, let's pretend I'm going to criticize again the color blue, right? We all worship the color blue. And I say, no, sir. Orange is the is the opposite of blue, and orange is way better. And now in our church, anyone who likes orange must be stopped. They are evil. In Scientology, we call these people, not we, I'm not a member of Scientology. In Scientology, they call it suppressive persons. You are in SP. You are suppressive. We need to stop you. We need to follow you around. Wherever you go, we need to ruin your day everywhere because you are a suppressive person. And even worse than a suppressive person, if anyone is curious to learn about Scientology, you must look up Leah Remini on Joe Rogan talking about this. Anyone who leaves the church, who knows its secrets, is even worse than a suppressive person. Anyone who has left the cult, who knows its secrets and inner workings, knows things about us that we don't want to get out. Therefore, we have to make them extra evil. Don't talk to these people. Don't even think about them. Anyone who mentions their names is like, you're carrying a disease and we need to check you out. We need to keep an eye on you. Signs number 3, exponentially more low-level members than high. This is the classic pyramid scheme shape, which I think I'll have on the right side of this video. Exponentially more low-level members, because high-level members can't earn things like power and money unless it gets funneled up the pyramid, right? So in order for the pyramid to succeed, there needs to be lots and lots of people on the bottom. Low-level members who are just there to hang out and then throw a few bucks in the collection plate, right? Every day or every other day or every month, whatever. Throw some money in the collection plate, funnel it upwards. And anyone who's in the good graces of the leadership gets a little chunk of it, right? It can be a thing that's good. I will clarify again. Again, I'm from the Protestant church. This kind of thing is the only thing that allows churches to even exist in the first place. You give some money so that the pastors can make money so that they can help people, right? Although right here I'm going to add an addendum. I don't even think a church needs, for instance, a building to exist. A church, the way that I perceived it back when I was practicing, was it's just a group of people worshiping the same thing. The purest form of a church, let's say, biblically speaking, is a bunch of people in a room talking about the object of their worship. You don't need to pass a collection plate. Except even for the, like, I don't even buy this whole thing of, like, you have to give money to pastors and stuff, like, necessarily. The earliest form of the church, we're talking about Protestant stuff, and I'll get back to the video in a second. The reason they passed around the collection plate was so that they can give that money to people in the group who needed it. It did not get funneled to the leadership. This can be a good thing, but pyramid schemes, cults, not so much a good thing. Putting people in this state of, like, illusions and turning them into zombies is, like, the opposite of what I would consider, like, good religion. Anyway, that's another topic. The highest level members are promoted as success stories. So I had a friend in college who was a part of a pyramid scheme, and he would raise up this guy who had, like, a Ferrari or something. It's like, dude, this guy is, like, the number one guy in this organization. He's, like, 180 level IQ. He's the smartest dude, right? If you hear him speak, it's like your mind's being blazed. Your mind's being, like, warped. And you can see the universe or something. Like, he wasn't saying exactly that, but, like, look how cool this guy is. I want to be as cool as him. So I want to climb. I want to be like the highest level members of this group because I want to have a Ferrari, right? I want to have a nice house. I want to make all this money. And in order to climb, you have to work hard, uplift the church, and then someday you can rise in the ranks, right? Always say good things about the church, the cult. Never say bad things. Someday you'll get a promotion if you talk to the right people and they allow you to grow, to climb, right? You can be more than just a normal member. Memorize the words that your leader repeats. Here's another sign that you can be in a cult. Do you notice the same words being repeated over and over every day? Things like, I don't know. At the end of YouTube videos, if I have an outro that's like, all right, guys, see you next time, bibbity bobbity boo, right? That word, bibbity bobbity boo, that is a Pavlovian response. Hey, did you have fun watching this video? Bibbity bobbity boo, right? Repeated words. And then every time you hear that phrase, you are thinking about the church. Repeated words. It is hypnotic. It is hypnosis. It is calculated to make you salivate. Think about the church. Recruit your friends and family. The church can't grow unless you bring new people in, and unless you will always be on the bottom of the pyramid unless you can bring in people to go underneath you. You can climb the ranks. Another way to climb is to make another level beneath you. Recruit your friends and family. Cult signs number 4. Every cult needs bad guys to fight against. All right. So I'm going to use Christianity, which was my faith, right? You got a devil figure. Or, for example, people who like the color orange that I talked about. You always need a bad guy. You need to give people, your followers, a little slice of heaven to follow and then a little slice of hell to resist. There are bad guys out there and they need to be resisted. They are the opposite of us, right? And that helps you not only pull towards a goal, but pull away or push away from a goal. So I'm putting my hooks even deeper into my followers by saying there are bad guys out there. Let's deepen that even more. All your friends are in the church. Your true friends are in this organization. The ones that you hang out with, we get to learn each other's names and lives and families, right? All our friends are in this church. And all our friends in real life, they're not our real friends. They don't know us and accept us the way that we're accepted in this church, right? This cult. I know your true nature, your true identity, and I'm not judging you. As long as you're one of us, I'm not going to judge you, right? I accept you. These are good feels that you have. And if I don't want to leave the group because this is the only place I'm accepted, that I can be my real self. You're in a cult. Bad guys, suppressive persons are to be mocked, shunned, and resisted. This is not, how do I put this? This is not so that you can shun those people and hurt their feelings. No. The reason we attack bad guys is to reinforce to our followers, this is what will happen to you if you leave us, if you criticize us. You see all the things and the mockery and the campaigns against the bad guys? That's what's going to happen to you, dear follower, if anyone turns against us. So keep your mouth shut if you have a criticism, or even better, if you have a criticism, bring it to the priests. And then we will lovingly record everything and then assure you that everything's okay and being dealt with. When in reality, we're keeping files on you. Scientology, okay? This is what they do. Cults keep files on people. You can tell I'm very upset about this. I don't like cults. I don't like being brainwashed. I don't like when other people are brainwashed. It's fucking creepy. Anyone who isn't in the church or who talks against it is on the side of a bad guy. Goes without saying. Trust no one except members of the church. That's a typo. You can't tell your secrets to people who are outside the church. And definitely don't tell church secrets to outsiders, because then you would be an outsider. Finally, cult signs number 5. Everyone in the church is your family. Brothers, for instance. An example, let's say, of I love this person closer than a brother. They are more than my own family to me, my own closest friends. They know me. I spend time with them all the time. One person used an example of an multiplayer online RPG. Your guild, right? You spend every night with these people. You spend meaningful time with them so that you can't leave because you're going to lose all that fellowship. The people around me are more meaningful and close to me than my own family. The church family, who accepts you as you are, by the way. I talked about this before. They pretend to accept you as you are, warts and all, and never try to improve you or criticize you because you're already perfect as you are, just like our great leader, because under his grace, we are also perfect, right? Your real family criticizes you because they don't really love you. They don't accept you for who you are. They criticize you because they're mean. Cults are all about good feelings, giving you good feelings all the time. Meanwhile, you're donating all your time, energy, and money to the organization. As long as you get the good feels, that's what you're really paying for, by the way. Fake acceptance. All outsiders are unclean. Isn't it interesting how cults don't want you to interact with or talk with outsiders once you reach a certain level? Because you might be influenced by people on the outside. Once you're in the organization, you're not allowed to criticize the organization. And hanging out with people who do criticize the organization, eventually you're going to be pulled away gently. Don't talk to those people anymore. They just say bad things about our happy organization, right? Hang out with us. We give you the good feels. Those people are trying to snap you out of it. You're spending too much time with those weirdos. You're giving too much money to those weirdos. Interacting with suppressive people will make you eventually unclean. If you don't follow directions, you will be smacked on the wrist. Hey, you're not allowed to talk to those people anymore because they're giving you negative thoughts. And you're also now on the list. You need to be, what's the thing that Scientologists do? Audited. We need to get inside your brain and dig around to make sure you're okay. Finally, right here is something that I've been linked to by a bud. The Slave Circle, the video about cults, about pyramid schemes. It's creepy as hell. I'm watching it now. I've only watched 2 minutes, as you can see, and those were very intense 2 minutes, so I recommend watching that. But what I'm really trying to say with all this is buy my book, Mary Sue, and also join the George Army. All right. Real talk, though. There's going to be no outro, whatever. You guys know who I am. You know I do a book, whatever. You can buy the book or not. I'm not asking for your loyalty. I don't want an army of people. I don't want a community of people following me, worshiping me, spending every night with me. I have a family, okay? I have friends. Their name is Jane Austen and George R.R. Martin and Bilbo Baggins. I have friends in my books and I spend time with them. What I'm trying to say really is that I only am going to sell you books, guys. I'm not asking for your eternal loyalty or your fealty. You can criticize me. I'm only human. Please snap out of it. I'm keeping all this cult stuff vague because you can fill that blank with anything. If the shoe fits, you're in a cult. Please snap out of it. We're not fighting for our souls here, all right? It drives me crazy. It's 10 o'clock. I got to get started on my book, but man, this is driving me out of my mind, seeing all this cult-like behavior. Do you know how many responses I've gotten this morning from people who are like, how dare you say bad things about this or that person? Like, I didn't even mention that person. You are filling in the blank. You already know you're in a cult. You know it already. You just can't admit it to yourself. You, friends, are filling in the blank. When I give you this list of what cult stuff, like, I'm giving you a list. You're putting a name in. Where I say cult, you're putting a name of an organization in there. It can be anything. It can be the military. It can be a hobby group. It could be your fake church. It could be even a family can become a cult, where it's like, it's all about the family, right? The mafia and all that crap. Fill in the blank. It is a very broad analysis. It's a tool to use. Think about these things. Snap out of it. Be a person. It's okay to be a person. You don't have to jump on everyone who criticizes the leader. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. Give me money, give me money, give me money. Join the George Army.